Hi guys, I'm Tracy and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be doing this whole look with just my HAKUHODO brushes. So I couldn't use all of them. I did want to show the ones that I felt there was more interest in, maybe some that I felt a lot of you have received more recently. And what kind of inspired me to do this video is that I saw so many of your guys' hauls being posted on Instagram and Facebook. So I thought maybe this would be helpful for those of you who have received your new HAKUHODO brushes. Just want to note, I am in this demo going to be using these three Blue Squirrel blending brushes, the S142, 146, and the G5534. Now these are kind of new to me, and I did try to make them work. I honestly don't use these, and I mean, I do use the G5534 to line here and there. These were a little disappointing. The only two brushes that I received that I was a little disappointed on. First of all, the S142 is bundled funny. I don't know if you can see, there's like a little, it's uneven here, which for a HAKUHODO brush is very unusual. It's very slight, it doesn't affect the performance, but what is disappointing about these is that they're so thin and so sparse that they're hardly good for blending. But I did use them for, you know, what I think you could use them for, not so much blending, but I just wanted to give you guys that input as far as these squirrel hair blending brushes. We are going to, I can't use all of them. I'll give you a little idea of what I'm planning to do. I only have one foundation brush, but I'm going to try to use the more like well-known face brushes, you know, like the B110, ones that are more likely to like be on your makeup vanity. I haven't been using those much because I've been pretty much using these mixed hair brushes. I'm going to use those as well, but I'm going to try to use ones that I feel like you guys are you know, trying to figure out on your own. I'm going to use the S5555, which is my only HAKUHODO foundation brush. And this brush is good. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it over other brands. And the main reason I got it was for the handle. But I don't know, I think what I like about this one is a little bit smaller than most dual fiber foundation brushes, and it has like a really nice angle to get into areas like this. So I do like it. I just think other brands have ones that are just as good, if not better. Alright, so now I'm going to do the eye look, and I have probably of all my eye brushes, I have mostly HAKUHODO, so I'm not going to be able to use all of them. And I just realized I don't have a big fluffy eye blending brush, so I'm going to use the S146 to start out the eye look. I'm going to use this Dior Riviera palette, and I've been using this almost every day for an easy look, you know, because the shades are so neutral. So I'm going to use this, and I've done this before. Just, this is not ideally how I would use this brush, but I use it to kind of lay down the first shade. I much rather use my Wayne Goss 3, but it does kind of splay out. Oh, I kind of don't like how that's going on there. Let me try the 142. I think maybe this is the one that I used for this. Yeah, this is the one I did for this. Okay, these two S-series squirrel brushes I don't use. I just think they kind of skimped on the amount of hairs, and they're hard to blend with. I think especially this one is supposed to be like a Wayne Goss 4. It doesn't have nearly as many hairs in it, and it's like borderline like liner brush. So I don't recommend these two, but I know that they're very popular and I'm sure a lot of you have them. So I did want to use it on camera. And now I'm going to use probably one of my most used eye brushes, the J5523, just to use these like deeper colors to start creating definition. I'm not going to do like a really involved eye look, mainly because I don't have a ton of time right now. But I did want to get something up so it looks a lot like a lot, but it's okay because I'm going to blend it out. And what I love about these Dior palettes is they don't really have fallout, at least not this palette. And I really appreciate that. All right, now I'm going to start lining the lower lash line. And I'm going to use the G5534. This is the before they started adding synthetic. And again, like the other two brushes, it's very sparsely packed, which I don't think that they originally were. I think these were meant to blend, but if you can see, it's so fine. To me, it's just not enough volume for me to use as a blending brush. So this doesn't give like a really specific line. It just kind of gets it all over, which I'm okay with. I'm not like doing a really editorial look. I'm not gonna do actually much more than that. Right now I'm going to use the G5523, and again, this is one that was supposed to be a blending brush, but I think by the time I bought it, it's just too thin to use for blending. So I'm going to use it with these two light colors to put a little lightness right here. I feel like it really brings out the shimmer in those shades. This palette doesn't have those kind of shades, so I'm not going to be using it, but if you wanted to, you know, if you have this brush, I think this works really well with a lot of different formulas. You can even use it with mattes to kind of deepen out this area. I just wish it could blend. See, like right here, it's just too thin to really blend this area, I feel. All right, now I'm gonna have to use the J5533 because this is the largest HAKUHODO blending brush. I don't really like this because it's got that flat top. I prefer something a little more tapered, but I can use this to like blend out these harsh edges here. But I think if you have eyes like me, have like on the smaller, eyes are on the smaller side, I don't think this is a very good one. It's just, you know, it doesn't have any taper to get into this area. So to me, this is a difficult brush to use. But I know it's a very popular brush of theirs. All right, so that's, oh, you know, I'll use one more liner brush, the B533. I really like this brush for putting on like a very dark liner. It's not going to create a really thin line. It's going to be like kind of like a medium line, but it really packs on pigment. All right, and then I'm gonna finish the eye look a little bit later. All right, so now I'm gonna do the concealer, my under eye concealer, and for that I'm gonna be using my new B539 that I got in my last haul. This is made of 100% Kolinsky, and I've been using this one every day, and I really like it. It's so it's got such a fine point, which I'm really enjoying. I hadn't used a brush like this before, so I was kind of unsure if I would use it, but I definitely am. And before I do that, I'm gonna just make sure there is no fallout, which doesn't look like there is, so that's good. But I'm gonna use it just to cover these little dark area up, and I'm not gonna really like highlight or bring this area out. I feel like it's gonna take a little time to do that. I'm just gonna cover up these dark circles and clean up the eyeshadow a little bit. And then while I'm doing that, I'm also going to highlight a little bit between the eyes and down the nose. I'm not going to really be so much contouring today. I feel like that step is just going to take way too long. Just for me, every day it's just not realistic that I can do that. But I can do like a kind of subtle contour by using a lighter concealer, like here and a little bit here. So that's gonna be my version of highlighting, and I want to just lighten up this area right here. Okay, now we're gonna set all this with the G6530. This one is fairly new to me, but it's everything I've done with this brush. It does so well. It does blush, it does bronzer, it does setting powder, it does finishing powder. For me, this is just a perfect size for a tapered round brush. And I'm going to kind of heavily powder under the eyes and everywhere I put concealer because it's pretty hot today. I'm using the HAKUHODO natural lighting powder, which I've had for a while. My sister actually gave it to me because she wasn't using it, and I didn't really think much of it at first, but now that I've been using it, since I've been needing to set my makeup more, it's really amazing because it never looks powdery. Like I can put a pretty decent amount on. Yes, it does look matte, but it doesn't look dry and heavy. I don't know if the camera is picking that up, but I just feel like a lot of powders that I use, if I put a certain amount on, my skin just looks really old and dry, but not with this one. Okay, I'm gonna do more blending and all that later. All right, so now I'm gonna use the J210 for my cream bronzer. And for that, I'm gonna use the Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer. And I did a video dedicated to these two products, the enhancer and perfector, and I like this product better. I just feel like it's a little easier to use. It's very summery because it has a lot of glow to it, and it's a really, for me, a really nice contour shade, and I guess kind of a bronzer shade. And it's just very, the formula is so easy to move around, and I think it's kind of, it's very beginner friendly and just a very easy product to use. If you kind of mess up, you know, it's not that, it doesn't look that bad because the pigment isn't very concentrated, which I appreciate. And we're just kind of haphazardly doing this just because I want to be realistic as far as like how I really do my makeup. I don't normally spend 45 minutes to an hour. I would say 20 to 30 minutes tops is usually what I spend on my makeup. So see how that like brought definition and a warmth without looking super, you know, super made up. At least that's how I see it. And it was just so easy to use. I really do like this product. The more I use it and look at how it comes out, the more I like it. I consider getting the medium shade because the light medium is it's a little neutral for me. But I do like it. Okay, now we're gonna go to cream blush, and I'm going to use something very unconventional for this product, but I just wanted to show it to you guys. I know a lot of you have these Eyeshadow brushes. The reason I haven't used this one for a very long time is mine sheds a lot, and it's probably going to shed as I use it right now. But I did use it for blush, cream blush, and powder blush for some time. And I'm going to use the Tower 28 Magic Hour. It's my favorite Tower 28 blush. And I love do love the size and the shape when it comes to something like this because it just fits so perfectly into most of these pans. And it is a nice size for my cheek here. The only thing is I feel like if I wash this brush a lot, the more it sheds, and I try not to use it because I don't want it to shed too much. I'm going to powder a little bit more and I'll be right back. And now we're going to do a little powder bronzer and blush. For the powder bronzer, I'm going to use the B110, and I honestly haven't used this for a while just because I've been testing so many other brushes, but this is a really reliable bronzer brush in my opinion. I'm using it with the Chantecaille Real Bronzer, and I'm just going to pat it, you know, in areas that I put the cream bronzer just to give myself a little bit more color. And I feel like this brush works with most formulas. Like this one's a Baked Gelée formula, which is sometimes hard to pick up, but this one does a good job at picking up pretty much any kind of formula except for cream formulas. And this look that I'm doing is kind of my everyday summer makeup look. I've been really enjoying the combination of these products. Pretty much all very neutral. Alright, if it's a little uneven there, I'm going to use finishing powder to kind of smooth everything out at the end. So I'm not too worried about that. Now I'm going to use one of my very first HAKUHODO brushes, the G5538. And I don't know if this is, I'm pretty sure it's still made just with goat hair, but now I'm going to use this for blush. I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Glowish blush in Berry Juicy. And this is one of those blushes I just keep using. It's just such a beautiful shade. I just love how it's got a little bit of red, but also a lot of like rosiness to it. And I like how these blushes have a little luminosity, but not too much. Like you could still add highlighter. I know it'll look beautiful like that, or you can leave it without highlighter. And these long floppy brushes, I did a video about just these floppy brushes. I think they're so versatile and they're so beginner friendly because they apply product very lightly and they don't disrupt your base makeup because they're so flexible. So I really do like these type of brushes. I have a couple of other ones, but I feel like this one is the easiest to use. It's, you know, it's round, it's got the perfect density. All right, so I'm looking a lot more summery. Okay, and I'm gonna now do, I'm not gonna do highlighter just because a lot of the products I've used are so luminous. I'm gonna just go ahead and put this Dior powder on. The powder no powder, I have it in 2N, and I'm gonna just put this in the center of my face, areas where I have texture. I feel like this product really smooths out areas where I can see my pores and have fine lines. I'm gonna use a fairly dense brush, the B505, and I'm gonna kind of get a pretty decent amount on right there. I'm gonna use it to kind of smooth out areas like this where I have a lot of pigmented products, under the eyes where I have that concealer. And this is a product, when I first got this Dior powder no powder, I was not understanding it. I was having a hard time picking it up, and then I realized you need a pretty dense brush to get this on properly. And since then, I've been really enjoying the results. It just kind of blends everything in, smooths everything out. Perfect for aging skin, but even if you're younger, I think you will enjoy this product. And the last step, I'm going to do finishing powder, and then I'm going to finish my eyes off camera. Okay, so for the finishing powder, I'm going to use the ambient lighting powder in diffused light. Yeah, diffused light. This is just mainly for like under the eyes. You know what? I've actually been picking up the G511 for this purpose quite a lot. And this is another brush. When I got it, I was not, you know, not very in love with, because it's just so much smaller than it looks online. But I like it. I'll show you what I've been using it for. Like to get a light finishing powder and getting it in this area. I've been liking it for this. To like put finishing powder in like smaller areas. I sometimes put dim light on the perimeter, but I don't feel like I need that today. All right, and then I'm gonna do my lipstick and mascara off camera, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I did my mascara, my lipstick, and I totally forgot to use one of my favorite brushes, eye brushes of all time, the J5529. I believe one of their most popular brushes to deepen out the outer corner of my eye. So I'm going to use this medium dark shade and just give my eye a little more definition right here. I got to be careful because I already did my mascara and everything, but I did want to show you how beautifully it works for this task. So I just do these like little mini circles. I usually connect it to the lower lash line and I sweep up. Love it for that purpose. Now I do think this is one that you can use the Rephr 13 and you'll get the same results. I like this one a little bit better because it's a little softer, but I can't really tell the difference between the Rephr 13 and this one. Alright, so the eye look is done. I'm also going to do a little highlighter. A day like this, it's pretty hot. My foundation is luminous, so I normally wouldn't, but I do want to show you the G5545. I know I got a lot of questions about this one as well, and so I figured a lot of you picked this one up. And I think number one task that this is good for is blush, but it also is good for powdering under the eyes, and it's also nice for a highlighter. So because it's got that point, it does highlighter beautifully and in a very specific way. It also fits right here nicely. And then if you want to kind of do the like sweeping the highlighter, this is also good for that. Like if you kind of want to use your highlighter as a blush topper, it's a really nice size for that. You can do that like that. Maybe like if it weren't so hot, I'd be putting a little bit more of this, but I'm already sweating and it's not even noon. So I think that's going to do it for what I'm able to show you guys today. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I did want to mention that I am going to be producing a lot more YouTube content. In my last video, or maybe the one before that, I announced that I'm going to be handing off a lot of my content onto Instagram, doing reels instead of videos. And that sounded like a good plan, but what I've learned in this past month is that when I did that, my skills in front of the camera and my ability to speak and explain things and all that really softened since I'm not filming as much. Also, I'm not editing nearly as much because Instagram pretty much edits your reel for you, and I'm starting to forget the things that I taught myself. So I was never in front of the camera before my channel, and so I had to learn all of these things on my own, and I don't want to forget it. So mainly for selfish reasons. There are some other reasons as well, but it's something I learned. And so look forward to my usual schedule, like closer to 2 videos a week is what I'm planning to put forward going forward. So that's really all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.